Professor SIlvestri and Dr. Larkspur fought over teams as the students kept trying to arrange themselves as directed. "There is no way you get Jason and Sanjo," Professor SIlvestri stated, stamping his feet. "Yeah, fine. Go over to his team." Dr. Larkspur ordered Sanjo. "It's tryouts. I should just get whoever I want," she complained further, crossing her arms. She blew her whistle. Everyone else sit down. Standing there were 6 students in 2 teams of 3. Everyone but Jason had the really cool-looking rifle. The sniper rifle was too long, kind of heavy and slow. Emily and Sanjo were together on the same team, and Jason didn't know the 2 students on his team. Professor SIlvestri was directing other students to start setting up the big, soft, simple cover structures at random. They made a small crawlway and an arch too. Most of the older students were taking the chance to be creative. Dr. Larkspur rallied her team and sent the companions away to observe. Krea, the doctor's companion, was notably absent. Dr. Larkspur whistled and called out to Tachita, causing Professor SIlvestri to give her a dirty look. Tachita floated to the group. "How can I help you, doctor?" the companion asked politely. "These 2 groups will play. Who is trying out for what teams?" Dr. Larkspur queried formally. Tachita blinked to get everyone's attention and then listed the contenders. Reginald Oakley for Fortuna Sharks, Jason Butane for the Imago Ravens, Hannah Vickers for the Concy Hornets on Team 1. "That's my team," Dr. Larkspur interrupted. Tachita didn't agree. "These are tryout teams. Team 2's players are Sanjo Valencia for the Socio Wolves, Emily Vesper for Concy Hornets, and Duncan Pilon for the Fortuna Sharks. I'll get my guys set up," Professor SIlvestri said, gathering Team 1. Before long, the 2 groups were on opposite sides of the gym, waiting for the whistle to blow. They were still new to this as a sport. All the 2nd and 3rd year students who played before noticed right away that the 1st year students were not in any proper formation. Between the 2 teams were a multitude of foam structures and objects designed to be either cover or a simple barrier. From where Jason was standing, he couldn't see anyone on the other team. Jason watched Dr. Larkspur get ready to blow the whistle. When Dr. Larkspur blew her whistle, Jason shouldered the sniper rifle in a way that was extremely familiar. It wasn't awkward to handle. He kept it close and went far left to the nearest large foam structure, which shifted an inch when Jason carelessly pressed his back into it. The other 2 students rallied behind him. "No, don't clump together," Dr. Larkspur shouted, waving her hands in the air. There was now laser fire from either side of the structure. It was not a good tactical position. Professor SIlvestri kept cheering. "Yeah, right away. Keep shooting, sweetie. You won't run out of lasers." He laughed, pointing at the place where Jason's team was pinned down. Sanjo was moving far to Jason's right, while his team kept the others pinned down. He stayed low and started to crawl through the little tunnel the other students had constructed. Jason couldn't stop thinking about the high ground. "Give me a boost, Reginald," Jason tried to order his teammate. Reginald looked a little mad at Jason for assuming to give him orders. "My name is Rex. It's short for Reginald," he said, as if not caring about the laser fire behind him, probably getting closer. "It is, of course," Jason smiled. "Rex, would you please give me a boost?" Jason asked. His other teammate, Hannah, offered to boost Jason, with Rex joining in. Just as Emily and Duncan on Team 2 thought they were doing really well keeping Team 1 totally pinned down, Jason popped onto the tall piece of cover and knelt down, taking aim at Emily, who noticed him first. She wasn't fast enough, and Jason tagged her in the forehead. Her weapon deactivated in her hand, and she stood there not knowing what to do next. Duncan now fired at Jason with a series of laser bolts, but he wasn't fast enough either. Jason had tucked his sniper rifle close to his body and rolled off the adjacent side. Duncan tried to move after him, but Jason had already peeked his sniper rifle around the corner. Duncan too was out. Sanjo had cleared the narrow tunnel and ambushed Rex and Hannah, who were surprised because they weren't even looking in his direction. They started to wander off the court, not knowing what to do now. The teacher's jaws were stuck wide open as now it came down to their 2 students who, despite being first years, would easily make their respective teams. The most excited one in the room was Nova, Jason's companion. She loved finally seeing a real game. Jason was doing really well, and he handled his rifle with the same skill as Sanjo. She watched as Sanjo kept firing rapidly, trying to corner Jason. Tachita was high above the court, collecting a ton of data. She was having fun, too. She noticed Nova was also high up, trying to collect data, unlike the other companions who floated together, whispering about the game. Marisol had her hoodie down, and she was fully engaged. She struggled to see past Cassie for a minute and moved to another seat. Her companion, Procyon, stayed silent, trying not to break her interest. Jason fired at Sanjo as he broke cover. Sanjo somehow knew Jason would do this and rolled hard against the gym floor, back onto his feet, but behind cover. Jason advanced behind the same piece of cover, bumping it to let Sanjo know that they were now both there. Dr. Larkspur and Professor SIlvestri were going insane over the situation and were shouting at them to shoot. Cassie was cheering, but really, she was cheering for everyone. The vetted students were also hollering commands. Marisol was standing up, trying to see better. Jason broke cover quickly, pointing his rifle around the corner, but Sanjo was already there, sliding across the floor, having thrown himself to a much wider position than Jason. Jason missed outright somehow, but it didn't matter because Sanjo fired first, hitting Jason and deactivating his weapon. Professor SIlvestri was pumping his fist in the air, dancing, howling, and shooting a laser tag gun in the air. Dr. Larkspur crossed her arms, clearly having some regrets. Jason regrouped with Sanjo. Orion and Nova floated up to them eagerly. Jason was actually really happy. He played well, and he recognized that right away. "That was great, Sanjo. You had a way better rifle than me," he said, trying to save a little face over the loss. "Jason, you were not this skilled before," Sanjo stated, a little mad that Jason had somehow exceeded his expectations. "How did you practice this?" Sanjo asked, his face serious. Nova flickered, but didn't say anything. Jason didn't want to lie to Sanjo. "I cheated," Jason admitted. "I cheated, and I will tell you later, okay?" Jason asked, doing his best to maintain the friendship. Sanjo smiled and nodded. "Okay," he said simply. Dr. Larkspur was calling the two teams together, blowing the whistle multiple times. Cassie couldn't help but join them, hugging Jason and Sanjo when she heard they had undoubtedly made the cut. Marisol put her hood up now and started to leave through the door. Tachita displayed statistics for the students who were interested in seeing their own instant replays. Emily had made the Hornets as well, purely out of having the most shots fired. For her, today wasn't so bad. She remembered Professor SIlvestri's promise to return her AI companion. It was late, and many students were trying to get a meal in the cafeteria before the kitchen closed. Jason and Emily, followed by Nova, came down the stairs to the entrance. Professor SIlvestri was waving at Emily. "Hey, check this out, Emily," he called out. He had a companion under his arm. It was Krea. He dribbled Krea like a basketball and threw the companion to Emily. "You've met Krea before, right?" Nova said, floating over, excited to see. Nova watched Krea lift out of Emily's hands and hover in front of her. Jason introduced himself as Emily remained silent. Krea made a soft beeping sound to confirm. Emily remembered seeing Krea roll around on the floor as Dr. Larkspur's companion. "Hey, little guy," she said gently, and Krea beeped again. Professor SIlvestri explained, "So, Krea is a really great companion. She's good for sports, and she has a powerful little laser she can use to help with physical homework. She doesn't talk, but I think you'll get along." He paused for a moment. "Go on, bounce Krea around a bit," Professor SIlvestri encouraged. Emily gently grabbed the companion out of the air. She tried to bounce Krea like she saw SIlvestri doing earlier, and Krea responded as expected, like a basketball. "Wow. Krea is pretty cool," she said, now releasing the companion back into the air. "Now you can practice whenever you want," Professor SIlvestri said proudly. "Thanks, Professor. She's great." Emily thanked Professor SIlvestri. For the rest of the evening, they played basketball outside with Krea. Nova tried being a ball too, but she wasn't good at bouncing or being at the mercy of others. Krea could also do things like find and bring Emily a towel, or even a bottle of water. Nova couldn't do those things.